a relationship, a marriage, how has that relationship either helped or has it been a distraction throughout the build to making millions within your business? Talk to me about that.
I would say, so business problems typically just show up as personal life problems. So these are personal problems that show up in the business.
How does your life, your personal, blend into the business? You used to call your team your family. Is there any correlation on the way that you speak to your wife and family to the way that you speak to your team?
You can be in a promised land, but you can't enjoy it because how you are wired in the wilderness. You still can't rest.
Now, let's get practical. What practical advice would you give to entrepreneurs to reset their nervous system from hustling to systematically flowing?
So I would say one thing, a big thing is...
Yo, welcome to the Strategic Scale Show, where we focus on scaling businesses, but not just that, the actual CEOs behind the businesses. I mean, the pitfalls, you talk about the struggles, but the growth to become not just a better CEO, but to become a whole and thriving person. So welcome you to the show. I'm Kevin Buford, and joined with me is my brother from another, Mr. Marquil Russell.
What up, bro?
What's
Let's
happening,
get to it, man. Let's get to it.
Yeah, how you feeling today? How you feeling today?
Amazing, bro. I'm feeling amazing, bro. I've been looking forward to it.
Yeah. We had these conversations yesterday in pertaining to, let's break it down. Like, I'm in my 30s, I'm in Atlanta, I'm single, and I have a great business, and there's a lot of things that is going and growing for me, right? As I look at you and my peers and those that are married that have children and everything like that, and these are things that I aspire to have, how has a relationship, a marriage, how has that relationship either helped or has it been a distraction throughout the build to making millions within your business? Talk to me about that.
Bro, I would say my marriage has literally been my greatest asset. One of my greatest. God and my marriage is like my greatest asset when it comes to like growing a business.
It's interesting because we hear about that, and I think for me, like it's like I heard that, oh, I wouldn't be this far without my wife and this and the third, and it's like elaborate on that a little bit.
Because I would say my wife, even when I was in the early building stages, like, because when I was going through the early building stage, when I was just like figuring stuff out, and she had to like supplement and cover the rent and the bills, and so she was like standing in the gap while I was like trying to figure stuff out. Even though when she didn't really understand what I was doing, or kind of the path I was going down, and she wasn't entrepreneurial, but she was like supporting me.
Right.
But like that level of support during that time, and then also I believe a wife, especially if you're like committed in the marriage, a wife also gives you like that balance and that focus and that foundation. So now you ain't in with kids, and now you're not out. Like I said, some brothers are like, and it's no shade to nobody, they're still out, doing their thing and moving around. But it's like if you like locked in, you ain't out seeking other things. So even in the book, Think and Grow Rich, one of the principles, I think he breaks down 15 principles. One of the principles is like the sexual transmutation, if I'm not mistaken. And it talks about like how when you're out trying to seek and, sex and all these different things, that's like energy that you're putting out. Right. But it's like when you ain't doing all those things, you can actually transmute that energy that you would have been out laying up doing different things into like one focused thing, and that can actually lead towards.
That make a lot of sense.
You know what I'm saying?
That make a lot of sense. I mean, that straight line focus.
100%.
This is what I'm putting it into, and then this is where the fruit come from.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at most successful executives, business owners, billionaires, 100 millionaires, they're all typically married.
Right.
Like even if you look at like the hip hop, if you look at hip hop, a lot of cats be talking about, different women, different this, but it's like that just be rap. Yeah. It's like they're really married. Like 2 Chainz like really married. Like Gucci is married. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like cats be like Tip married. It's like cats got real, and I don't know what's going on behind I ain't in their personal life. I don't know them personally. But if you look at it, like cats be like married. You know what I'm saying? Robert Smith, wealthiest black man in American history, like my man married. Been married for a minute. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
I like it. So, and even like the clients that we serve and the married couple, like, is there a difference that you notice between the single folks and then like the married couples, or like in success or like building or executing? Any like differences or similarities that you notice?
I can't say. I think what I found, generally speaking, this ain't 100% of the case, but I think generally speaking, individuals, clients we work with who are in marriages or serious relationships or who have kids, a lot of times that, again, this ain't 100% of the case,
right.
but a lot of times they're more locked in.
Okay.
Because they actually got something to quote unquote lose, or something to build, not even if it's nothing to lose, but actually to build for.
Okay.
Does that make sense? And again, that ain't 100% of the case.
I feel that. For me, I feel like you now set the tone for the episode.
Okay.
So if you were speaking to my folk, you know what I mean? Because I feel like you do have a lot of single folks or people that aren't married yet, but they're in positions to go ahead and start building the legacy, start going ahead and actually providing for their family before they actually create the family, right? And the infrastructure. So I want you to kind of talk to me about your past. Even when I think about Kai Cenat is going through a public breakup right now. He has the money, he has the notoriety, and like through the midst of like that whole process, it makes me wonder, like, I think one of the things that I saw him quote was like, I'm never gonna do this again. You know what I mean?
Kai Cenat, a public breakup, like relationship wise?
Yeah, so him and his girl no longer together.
Okay, cool.
You know what I'm saying? So when you talked about the building and like, you know, you want to have that one that went through the struggle with you, and you know, everybody doesn't have that story. And now he's in a place and position where he has that. I guess I wonder to myself is just like, what happens on the build up? Like for you, we've heard a little bit of your story, and you can talk a little bit about it more. But like, what were some of the caveats, I guess, and discrepancies that like may have been more of a blessing and that has changed or helped turn you up? But what are some of the things that I should be, or we should be looking for in like a partner to build like a legacy with someone?
Bro, I think this, man. I think the biggest thing is being, I think with relationships, the best example I heard, the best description I heard of this is from this guy named, I think his name is James Hollis. He wrote the book, The Middle Passage. And I was listening to an interview, and he was basically like, I don't know if you talked about this before, but I was like, he was basically like, a marriage is a project where two individuals commit to a project, and they commit to the otherness of the other person. So they don't come into it like, my goal is to change this person, or my goal is to change this person, or they good, but I know I can change them over time, or they'll change. It's like, no, you're committing to the otherness of that person. That's good. From the door.
That's good.
Right?
Yeah.
And you're both committed to development and growth all the time. You're not necessarily, you're committed to the otherness of that person, and that person also isn't committed to them just staying there. They're committed to also growing over time. And it was like, once growth stops, and then you don't want, and these individuals aren't committed to the project no more, he was like, that's when marriage stops. Hey, real quick, I know we're going deep right now. However, if you're watching this and you're a business owner, you want to take your business to the next level, you want to scale your business and have a business that can run without you, without running you in the ground, and you want to generate more leads, more clients, or you want to put the systems in place so your business can run like a well-oiled machine, make sure you check in the description section of this video. We got a ton of free resources for you. Go ahead and get those right now. Stop right now. Go ahead and get those resources, and let's get right back into the show. A lot of times people will say, well, we've been married 30 years, or married 50 years, or married 60 years, and people will celebrate that.
Right.
But he was like, all the time, that's not something to celebrate. Because he was like, sometimes people are just staying in marriage just out of convenience.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And they'll just stay in it. But he was like, no growth has taken place.
Yeah.
So why would you stay in it? So I think it really boils down to, a lot of times people be trying to find the total package.
For sure.
Right? And Dr. Miles Monroe even had a video where he was like, God doesn't give you your wife, or I would say your husband, but he was speaking to, I think he was speaking to the men from that particular perspective. Like, they give you the total package. It was like he gives you the raw materials, right? And then y'all develop, over time.
That's good. That's good. Like for me, and I know people, and I've seen relationships to where it's like y'all so broke, y'all can't even break up. You know what I'm saying? It's like we're so intertwined before a covenant relationship or ring or anything like that. We splitting the bills, both our names on the lease. Like we can't even break up appropriately.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So when I think about that, like for me, like I found my purpose, I feel like in college. And I think it's always been a struggle for me to like put a relationship before what I love to do. And one of my gifts is, media and telling the story. And it's like when you found that how do you balance like a relationship when you're talking about putting someone else or the otherness? Yeah. Like, how do you go ahead and balance the otherness versus like what you found, like you feel like is a calling and I know I can get to this?
Bro, it's like if you think about the Bible, right? Like every single person I could think of, with few exceptions, they had a purpose, they had a calling, but they never do it on their own.
Okay, talk to me.
You know what I'm saying?
Talk
So
to
it's
me.
like, Moses had individuals who was with him. Moses didn't do it by himself. He
Right.
had Aaron, he had his sister, I can't think of his sister's name right off the top of my head, but it was like people who was like, moving with him, through the purpose. Like David had Jonathan, right? Jonathan was like rocking with him like throughout. So it was like, it's not necessarily, so let's say for example, you locked in on purpose, you're building this business, and you're like, well, I don't know if I can put a relationship before that. Well, it was like, why does it have to be seen as putting a relationship before it?
Okay.
Why can't it be, we're building this thing, right? This relationship, this unit, this family, and this business, at least right now, is part of what we're building.
And that's a beautiful piece. I think it's the way that you serve it. You know what I'm saying? How you explain it or break it down to your significant other. And oftentimes, for myself, I've noticed that it's hard for me to explain what someone else doesn't have. And if you can't get on the accord or like see the vision of where I'm going, it's like that person oftentimes feels left out. So I guess to myself, and even over the course of your progress with your wife, like what does that look like? And because y'all still, how many years married?
Be 14 now.
14 years married,
Yeah.
right? How has your marriage...
This year be 15.
This year be 15.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
For sure.
How's your marriage survived your success? Because you said that, at one point she was paying all the bills and everything like that. And then there was a transition. Like, how has your marriage, like, survived your success?
So define success.
I think transitioning from her paying all the bills and then you being able to take over in that aspect. Also from a thing where you've gone from hustling, grinding, this, that, and the third, to be able to now, your priority is spending time with your kids, spending time with your family. So it's like the transition, like your success isn't just monetary, but success looks different for you. Were there any like bumping heads throughout that process where it's like, all right, I'm onto something, we make it but it's like, it's taking me away from the family a little bit. Were there any...
So for me, bro, I think it's, so with me and my wife, it's a partnership. So it's like, when I look at success, I look at it like holistic success.
Okay.
And I've always looked at it holistically for the most part. So we talked about this yesterday when I heard Inky Johnson say one time, he was like, a lot of people are public successes, but private failures.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, define success. Like, was it a certain type of money that success or certain stages? Like what does that mean?
Got you.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if I'm making a lot of money and the business is growing, but my marriage is failing, or I'm going through a divorce, or my kids don't know me. So for me, it wasn't a transition of grind, and then I got to a point where I prioritized my kids and my wife. It was like, even as we were building, we were going on vacations at the level we could. We were doing the things at the level we could.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like, hey, let's go 10 years, 15 years, and now we're prioritizing them things. You know what I'm saying? We was already doing those things at some level. Like when I saw a picture the other day, Quay is 22, he'll be 23 this year, but I got a picture of me reading to his class when he was like in second grade or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, these things have always been important to me.
Yeah.
So it's a holistic picture of success. So what some people might see as, oh man, you're successful because you're on those stages, or you're successful because I saw you with such and such. Them, it's like, I don't define success based on that.
That makes sense.
Does that make sense?
That does make sense. That's good. And I think also in these relationships, it's like we have to define what success looks like for us.
100%.
If we don't, then we'll mirror somebody else's image and
Yep.
then be living up to an expectation that ain't ours. So that's big. I think that's really big. I think like I would love some simplistic ways on like things that you might have seen as a learning lesson. Because when you talk about two becoming one, it's like dying to yourself. So like, what are some of the things that you had to die in your ways to make sure you were a great husband, but not just that, a great business owner? So transitioning from that hustling again to like, all right, now we understand that systems creates this and this, that, and the third.
So I think the biggest thing is so number one is I think it's a continuous dying to yourself, right? So I think I'm still seeing areas to improve. Because I think the biggest thing is like when you come together, it's like you start realizing like, because I was explaining to somebody one day, I was like what I had to realize like when you're in a relationship, and let's say you're 35 and the other one is like 33, it's like you're married to that, or you're in a couple with you're married to that 33-year-old or 35-year-old, and the 5-year-old version of them,
Yes,
right?
That's good.
Or who the 5-year-old version of them who their parents made them feel bad about asking for help. So now they don't ask for help because when they were little and they asked for help, they got yelled at.
Right.
So they learned to not ask for help.
Right.
Right. Oh, so now you're like, why you don't ever ask for help? And they're like, I just figured out on my own, blah, blah, blah. Not realizing, well, actually, when you were 5, you got yelled at. Like, what? Put your shoes on. You know how to put your shoes on. Let's go. Blah, 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 blah. Right? So it's like, they don't want that.
Right.
Or the dude who didn't get affirmation growing up, right? So now they're seeking affirmation.
Yeah.
And you're seeking affirmation from your wife who doesn't give you the affirmation because her communication style is different. But because she doesn't do that, now you feel like she don't see you. So now you're doing things expecting her to respond a certain type of way or the other way around.
Yeah.
And they don't. And now you're like, oh, you don't appreciate me. He's like, well, I appreciate you. I'm just not communicating that I appreciate you in the way that you want me to.
Right.
Because that ain't my communication style, right?
Right.
And it's learning that. And then it's like figuring out, okay, what is this really for me? Like, what is it about me that needs this affirmation?
Right.
Or what is this about me that needs, because I speak for me, sports, I used to do certain things and I used to expect my wife to respond a certain type of way. And I had to come to the real, and I used to feel away, and I had to get to a point where it was like, dang, what is it about me that needs to get validation or affirmation? You know what I'm saying? Why just do the thing because, and don't seek the response. Even with kids, it's like people will do. So I forgot who said this one day. I think we was all together, and he was like, IB. IB was like, he don't do birthday gifts.
Okay.
I think we was talking about that bunch of rows. And he was like, cause think about it, bro. And he said he rarely do because he heard it from, he was like, cause think about it. He was like, when you give people gifts, in most cases, you're giving them a gift for you, not them.
Elaborate.
Because he was like, when you give people a gift, a lot of times people be like, what? Like, let's say, for example, if somebody give you a gift, many times you'll see people, they'll be like, open it up now.
Yeah, okay, all right, I got you.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, open it up now.
Yeah.
And you be like, okay, cool, thank you, I'm gonna pull it open. And like, no, open it up now. Because they want to see your response.
Right.
And see if you appreciate it.
That's good.
Right? They want to see it. So they like, open it up now.
Yeah. Did I do a good job?
Did I do a good job? Right? Or they're like, well, they bought you something you hadn't opened it yet.
Yeah.
And they feel away.
Yeah.
It really wasn't about, part of it was about them, but part of it was about you as well. So it's like, what is that?
Yeah.
So I think that dying to yourself is also like a revealing of like who you are.
That's
because
good.
it's like, yeah, you're that 40 plus version, you're that 35 plus version. But it's like, all right, you might have mama issues. So now all the women that you get with, and I've talked to brothers about this, they're like, she don't make the breakfast, she don't make the grits how your mom made the grits. So now y'all fall out.
Right.
Because she don't cook how your mom used to cook.
I hear you.
That ain't got nothing. So and then the whole relationship will fall apart. The whole marriage will fall apart.
Right.
And it was like, dude. And you will find other reasons. And now you'll be out trying to find other women to fill in these gaps to like make up for who your mom was. So now you're like, okay, I gotta have all these different things. So business problems typically just show up as personal life problems. So these are personal life problems, personal problems that show up in the business.
Got you.
So a lot of the stuff we do is interesting. I was talking to MJ yesterday. We was out at dinner because he had something he working through at school. and he was like,
How old is MJ?
MJ is 12.
And he's working through some things. That's
Yeah,
right.
right.
I love it. I love it. Go ahead.
And he was like, you should be a guidance counselor. He was
Just randomly?
No, as we was having this conversation.
Oh, okay.
And he was like, you make good money doing it. And I was like, at some level, what I do is I do guidance counseling for entrepreneurs, right? Because it's like, bro, it's like, sometimes many individuals started their business as a trauma response. Not because they're passionate to grow a business or they're passionate to really help people or solve a problem. They need to make money because they want to survive because they grew up in poverty and they never want to go back to that.
Yeah.
Or they were in a job in corporate and they were taken advantage of or mishandled or whatever. And it was like, well, I'm going to start a job. I'm gonna rebel and go out and start my own thing. And so it was a trauma response. It wasn't a calling or nothing like that. I'm not saying there has to be a calling,
right.
But it's like, sometimes it's a trauma response, and now you go out into entrepreneurship, and entrepreneurship is going to show you.
For sure.
That's all entrepreneurship does. You're probably like, whoa, Marquel, slow down. If you're enjoying the show so far, you may be wondering, how do you actually become a guest? Now, this isn't a platform where anybody can just get on. You got to be in a specific area of your business where we can really do a solid deep dive. If you want to be a guest on an upcoming episode, all you got to do is go to strategicscaleguest.com. strategicscaleguest.com. There is an application process, so go over there, answer a couple simple questions, watch the quick video that I have there, answer a couple simple questions, and if you meet the criteria, our team will reach out to you and we'll get it scheduled and we can figure out if you're going to come to our office where we do a deep dive or we come to your office. So go ahead, strategicscaleguest.com. Let's get back into the show.
The biggest thing I got from you is that, and I don't argue this, but I always talk to those that are in a 9-to-5 or even in a corporate. We talk about entrepreneurship is way tougher than it is having a 9-to-5,
100%.
being on a strict schedule,
100%.
this, that, and the third. I want, not even in that place or position, your thought process of like, how does your life and your personal blend into the business? Because you talked about the way that you would speak to your wife. It's interesting, weird calling her your wife because I know V. Mm-hmm. But speaking to V, how you do that, is there any correlation on the way that you speak to your wife and family to the way that you speak to your team and your like coworkers?
Is it correlation to how I speak to them?
Yeah, because at one point I remember you saying you used to call your team your family. Yeah. But there was, and I want you to talk about that, there was I guess a negative connotation to that. Mm-hmm. And I wonder how you had grown through that situation.
So I think, so back to the family thing with the team, is like one of the things I had to learn was that I think, again, it goes back to that childhood stuff. Mm-hmm. It's like, I think from a business standpoint, I was trying to create what I felt I lacked growing up from a family dynamic standpoint. So I was like, okay, friends would be family, or people I called friends would be family, or team members would be family, because I was trying to create, this family dynamic, which is unhealthy in business, because it's like, then you'll begin to keep people longer than you should because you're giving them more the benefit of the doubt.
That's good.
Because it's like your family.
That's good.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I think with my family, what I've had to learn to the distinction is like in business, everything is like results driven for the most part, right? Mm-hmm. We got certain goals, we got certain targets, people are being paid for a certain outcome, blah, 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 blah. On the family side, I think I had to be more aware of everything not being results driven. And like, if there's a problem, because in business, it's like, okay, if there's a problem, like what do we need to do to solve it? Like, is it a system we need to fix or whatever? On family side, it's not that. Like, sometimes I had to learn that my wife is sharing something with me, Vanessa's sharing something with me, just because she's sharing, not because she wants a fix for it.
Hey.
Hey, does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense. Right. That makes perfect sense, because it's like I think we're problem solvers. Right? Yeah. If you're bringing it to me, it's just like, well, let's get to the issue.
Let's get to the issue.
Yeah. So.
And it's like, no, I'm not sharing this with you to fix. I'm just sharing for you to listen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
That's good.
And I even with my kids, same thing, because I'm like, because I don't like, and I'm not saying they complain, but I'm like, okay, if there's let's zoom in on the thing, let's fix the problem. So even with, I had to ask now in some scenarios, like I said when I was talking to MJ yesterday, he got some me working through, and I was like, do you want like feedback or suggestion, or you want me to just listen, or like what?
That's a great question. That's a great question. I don't think a lot of us do. Because I did that same thing. I was having a conversation with my mom, and mom going into mom mode is like, well, how can I help? What do you need? And it's like, I was really just kind of like you talking it out,
Yeah.
and just kind of expressing something I didn't vocalize.
Mm-hmm.
It was just something I was internalizing. And she's like, it's okay for you to tell me that, you know, you don't need a fix for this. Just like, I'm just getting this off.
100%.
So I think that that's a beautiful part in the relationship, what leads to my next question is leadership. Even as a man, as a CEO, from the household to a business owner, is there any difference in correlation to leadership in both areas, and are there any similarities that you notice in the household versus the business life as well?
I think it's a lot of similarities. So I think in business, and I got this from my guy Kendall. Shout out to my guy Kendall. So you literally have to have, in business, you got an org chart, right? Organizational chart, like a map, look out with like, what's your team? In family, you also got to have an org chart. So like, what's the structure, right? So in our household, I would say my wife. So in business, I'm the CEO of our company.
Right.
I would say on the family side, Vanessa's the CEO.
Okay.
And I would say I'm probably CFO.
Okay. Okay.
Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
But I would say she's the chief executive officer because like CEO in a business, it's challenging sometimes from department to department,
right?
Because each department doesn't have the same data, and they don't have the same amount of information,
right?
So sometimes it's hard for the sales department to understand client success or the marketing department because they don't have all the information.
Got you.
The CEO has more information than all the departments.
Okay.
So the CEO can make decisions based on all the information.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does. Does she know that she's a CEO?
For the most part.
Yeah, as far as conversation goes.
So Vanessa, she has all the information. She understands me. She understands the kids. She understands the kids individually, right? The youngest from 6 all the way up to Haley, the oldest. She understands all the different dynamics, right? And then sometimes she'll have information that she didn't necessarily share with me because it wasn't necessarily necessary to share it with me at the moment.
Right.
So that's from the CEO standpoint. So when it comes down, to the vacations and stuff like that, it's like, all right, cool. These are vacations we're considering. What you think about these? We come to the agreement on those, and then I'm executing and making sure from a financial standpoint, how the investments are going and things of that nature. And then also, so for example, right now we're working on our real estate portfolio. So she's taking the charge on that because she want to do a certain type of patient care homes. So she's taking the charge on that and then pulled me in on like, okay, financially, here's how we need to, execute on that. Right. So it's like having this org chart. And in that org chart, you got different personality types. For sure. Right? So it's literally personality profiles. It's like, this drives Roro a certain way. Yeah. Ryan is ran by this. MJ, he operates based on this. Haley, everybody kind of, their personality type. So it's like you literally have an org chart, and it's important to have like certain meetings in that, right? So it's like one of the things we're intentional about. We ain't perfect at it, but we working on getting back in. Is like doing the one-on-ones with the boys, right? Because it's one thing for us all to get together and go out, but it's also different for us to go out and individually have the one-on-ones, and the boys enjoy that. And then me and Vanessa had a weekly sync where we sync up one-on-one. We got a series of prompts and questions and so forth that we go through. And then, so that's our leadership meeting. For sure. So to speak. On the business side, we have a leadership meeting. Me, Dre, B, we have our leadership meeting. On the family side, me and Vanessa have our leadership meeting. And then we have a family meeting with me, Vanessa, and the boys. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's a lot of similarities for sure when it comes to it.
That makes, I think that makes a lot of sense. And I'm so glad you are out of the game, so to speak, because it's like, when I hear that, it's just like, well, I want my man to run the house, and I want him to like take charge, and I don't want to have to, and I just want to compliment him. And it's so interesting, even from your perspective, to say that yeah, she got it. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's a true partnership.
Yeah.
And I think oftentimes, like, when people don't define partnership a certain way, they'll take what they see in the world and like bring it into the household.
Yeah.
And it's like, if they not having these weekly syncs or these conversations, it's like, this is where like miscommunication, confusion can come into the mix. So I think that's dope. When I think about the way that even Pastor D, he has his family meetings where like they all pray together, and I was like, these are some of the things that I see that are similarities in a successful marriage and a relationship. What are some of the similarities that you see for entrepreneurs that are struggling with delegating tasks and different things like that, or nervous to hand off? Well, that's the delegation. Nervous to like go to that next level because they're complacent. They know what to do at this level. What are some of this, or what advice would you give? I guess you could say, what advice would you give to those that are at that level? They're not wanting to let go of that leadership or that CEO, or they're trying to get certain things done, but they're not as efficient.
Bro, all that goes. Listen, the majority of that, all 9 times out of 10, it goes back to like some kind of childhood issues. Like literally, bro. So let's break it down.
Okay.
Let's break it down. So, somebody who says, okay, this is my baby, I can't trust nobody else with this because it may fail.
Cook.
This is the words, right?
Cook.
And this what we hear?
Yeah, that's what we hear.
Why you laugh?
Because you want it.
Right.
You want it. Because
So
I hear that. And I speak like that
right.
too.
So it's like, that's fear. Because they're like, this could cause me, and then we catastrophize. It's like, them making this one decision could kill my business, kill my money, and then I'm homeless.
Right.
Catastrophizing.
Right.
Or I'm back where I always said I would never be. So now I got shame and I remember being shamed in kindergarten, and I don't ever want to go back to feeling like that. Or I remember not having money, and I remember, so I can't, so I have to be hyper vigilant to take care of myself because I've always had to take care of myself. That's all childhood.
That's good.
You know what I'm saying?
I hear you.
Like, don't trust. You can't trust.
Yeah.
Last time I trusted somebody,
Yeah.
they took advantage of me. I trusted a girlfriend growing up and she cheated on me. Or I can't really do that and expose myself. Does that make sense? Yeah. So it's like that literally, or people have this, sometimes entrepreneurs have this addiction to being needed. So it's like, I get my significance by doing all the sales calls, being in all the content, making all the decisions, everything going through me. I get my significance through that. So if I'm not doing that anymore, who am I? Because I got my whole identity based on what I built.
Yeah.
Right? So this business owner who does $1 million this year, and then next year it doesn't go as well and they don't make $1 million a year.
Right.
If their identity was rooted in this $1 million business, now their identity takes a hit based on the success or the lack thereof of the business.
Right.
Because it was like, I've never been able to be seen. I never felt seen any parts of my life.
Right.
Or my dad told me I was going to be a failure, or my mom told me I was going to be a failure, or my dad or my mom was just super successful and I've been trying to reach that point.
Yeah.
So I've been pushed to succeed to lead up to this. And now I fall a little short, or I don't hit that goal, or I don't feel like this, or blah, 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 blah. Like, all that's childhood. Or I don't want to post this content because I don't like how my voice sounds.
That's good.
Where does that come from?
That's good.
Somebody told you something about your voice at some point.
Yeah.
Or I don't like how I look on video. Well, why not? Somebody told you was fat, or somebody told you was ugly growing up, or somebody told you this, or even your spouse might tell you this, or all these different types. Or you're afraid of people saying negative stuff in the comments.
That part.
You get what I'm saying?
That part.
It's like all this
Yeah.
is that 5, 6, 7-year-old. All this childhood.
Yeah.
That's why Dr. Kurt always he'd be like, money only solves money problems. It's like once you make the money, now you're stuck with all the problems money can't solve.
Right.
Money ain't gonna heal the childhood wounds. Money ain't gonna chill the needed wound. Money ain't gonna fix none of that. You're gonna have to go do the deep work. You got to go do the therapy. You got to go do the somatic healing. You got to go actually do the work. Money ain't gonna fix none of that.
Yeah, and that's dope because like you hinted at it a little bit before. I'm wondering, is there any specific circumstance or situation that you remember where this correlated to like, oh man, this, because you mentioned a little bit of it, but is there another situation or scenario where you've correlated like, this ain't got nothing to do with business, this actually got a lot to do with how I was raised or the lack thereof? Any situations that kind of come to mind for you in that regard?
Bro, I can't think of like pretty much all of it, bro. It's like it's like everything. It's like so for example, I think we talked about this before. It's like I've actually, looking back, all of what we've built for me personally was from a place of survival. Because I remember having to eat syrup sandwiches. I remember having to drink sugar water. I remember coming home and the power not being on. I remember having to eat MREs, meals ready to eat, which you get from like the military. Because I was living with my aunt, and she smoked crack, and her husband was in Desert Storm, and he sent back home boxes of these MREs. People who in the Army know it, or have Army family members know these MREs. So I remember that. I remember having to wear the Payless shoes, right? I remember my first pair of Jordans somebody gave to me. You know what I'm saying? I remember all that. And I wanted to, I remember having a starter jacket, a Chicago Pool starter jacket that was too big for me, but somebody gave it to me, but I still rocked it, even though it was too big.
Right.
It was still a starter jacket.
Right.
I remember that. I remember not being able, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I've always not wanted to go back being that guy. That's why I was hustling in the streets. I'm like, I need to get my own money, you know what I'm saying? And I remember like when my mom got me, and she was raising me and my two sisters. Like, we wasn't poor. Like, my mom was a hustler, right? And she used to get us 2 pair of shoes. Every year, she used to get us 2 pair of shoes going back to school. A black pair of shoes and a white pair of shoes. Yeah. But it's like me, I wanted more, right? So we weren't hurting for nothing, but I wanted more.
Right.
So I was like, all right, let me hustle. Let me figure out how to way to get my own. So that was just been wired into me. So it's like, even from a business standpoint, it's like, oh, I need to get it. We need to get it. We need to get it. We need to hustle. We need to grind. We need to grind. We need to grind. And that was wired into me. And I was like, dang, you can actually build something and make millions of dollars and still be in survival mode. You can have more money than you ever had in the bank account. You can have all the things and literally still be in survival mode.
That's good.
I was reading this book the other day, and it said, I actually sent it to Pastor D and Pastor Tay, and I was like, the quote was, because I was just texting him, the quote was, and I was like, it said, the promised land is almost harder than the desert.
Oh.
And he was like, sheesh. And I was like, right. And I said, and we'll be thinking we ain't in the promised land because it's challenging. It was like, you can be in the promised land, but you can't enjoy it because how you were wired in the wilderness. Because in the wilderness, you was in survival mode.
Right.
You was like, am I going to get here? We going this, we second guessing, we don't really know. You know, we're going through this whole season. You get to the promised land, you still can't rest.
That's good.
Because you weren't wired, because like you've been wired to be hyper vigilant.
Right.
So it's like now you there, and it's like, bro, like.
Yeah. So and so that's good. So now let's get practical. What practical advice would you give to entrepreneurs to reset their nervous system from hustling to systematically flowing?
So I would say one thing, a big thing is checking in. So like, for example, I would literally start checking, like, first of all, breathing more. So in simplicity, like breathing.
That's good, because I think that's gonna go. I don't want that to go over nobody's head. Yeah.
Because I think because like we think we're breathing, but like if we locked in, we doing the thing. If we check in with ourselves, we'll actually realize that our breathing has got shorter. We're not even like doing full breaths because we like locked in.
Panting.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because you like, you're literally not even breathing. You like locked in on the thing. You need to get this thing done fast. You're doing the thing, and it's like you literally not even breathing.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and then you realize like, okay, let me relax. And then sometimes your body will, you literally got, and this is one of the things I learned, is like you literally got to put your feet on the ground and literally be like, hey, I'm not running from anything right now. Because your body will think you're running from something.
Right.
And you'll be like, you're running, like your body can really think you're literally running from something. And you're like, no, I'm actually good.
Yeah.
Right? And then even as an entrepreneur, it'll be times where your chest might tighten to something when you finna check your bank account. Right? Or some money comes in and you feel relieved. You ever had like an invoice get paid or a new client get enrolled and you like,
Woo, right
and
on
you,
time.
and you feel relief?
Yeah.
In those moments, you're wiring your nervous system to believe that you were in danger until that hit. Like literally, bro.
That makes sense.
So what if instead you was like, oh, cool, I appreciate God for the provision. I mean, I was good before this, and I'm good with this, right? And he's like, oh, I'm finna check the bank account. And your chest tightens, and you like, okay. You look around like, okay, I'm actually good.
Yeah.
And you're like, whatever's in the account, I'm grateful for, and I'm good with it, and I'm good without it. And now you're basically rewiring your nervous system.
That's good.
Does it make sense? Otherwise, because what'll happen is you'll actually, if you're not careful. So in the Bible, it talks about the altar of Baal, and the altar of Baal is basically the god of production, and it's connected to Mammon.
Okay.
Mammon is like the spirit behind money. So, you know, some people say, well, money is evil, money is this, money is this. Money is like neutral, right? It's like the money in the bank account is neutral. Right. The money that was just deposited or the invoice that was just paid, it's neutral. It's the spirit behind money that can be behind money is Mammon, which basically like money is your source.
Right.
That's why the Bible, Jesus says, man can't serve God and Mammon.
Right. Okay. That read.
Mammon is the God behind.
Right.
You can't serve both.
Yeah.
Some translations say God and money. But even then, it's like it's comparing God. The Bible wouldn't compare God to an inanimate thing. It's like that's why when the Bible talks about we wrestle against principalities and the higher power, that type of thing, right? Because it's like that's why when people say, well, I believe in God or God this. Well, we ain't all talking about the same God, right? Right. It could be Luigi. It could be the God of money or the God of. It goes way deeper. Yeah, for sure. But sometimes people will just throw God and they'll be like, oh, he believe in God. Like we want to say, it's like, no, he ain't talking about Yahweh.
Yeah, right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? He's talking about somebody else, right? Whatever that is. So it's like us, because again, especially depending on where we come from. Right. If we got our nervous system and we'll realize, I'll give you a personal example. Bro, I had a significant amount of money for me. It could be less or more for something, whatever. It's neutral. Right. In one of my bank accounts. And I would never move it. And my CFO was like, bro, you should move that money and put it here and at least it'll grow because it was just in a regular bank account. Right. And me logically, I knew that. But I had comfort in seeing the money in the account. Yeah. So me not realizing it, I had actually slipped into this becoming an altar. This money in the account gave me comfort. So it was an altar. Gotcha. It was a God, basically. Right. So it's like whatever gives you comfort outside of God becomes an idol.
That makes sense.
Not even realizing it, bro.
Right.
So it's like you commit idolatry and you don't even realize it because you're like, this thing brings me comfort.
And it's like we think that we're not doing it because we didn't intentionally do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like, cause it's like your heart.
Yeah.
It's like in the Bible they built golden calves. They did these things, but it's like no, the idols now, or the altars now are like in your mind. It's like it's like you're like, all right, let me check this account. You see the money there, and you're like, man, you're relieved. Yeah. It's like that money is your God.
Yeah.
Literally, that's an idol.
That's an idol.
We got to be careful of it, especially as entrepreneurs.
That makes sense.
In general, I would say, but especially as entrepreneurs, especially when you start like, oh, my gifts, I'm so skilled, I'm doing this, I can create myself, and then you trains of thought that says, ain't nobody coming to save you, you got to save yourself, blah, 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 all the different things that come with that. You got to be very careful of those things because you can become an idol to yourself, like your self-reliance. Can be an idol. Now you ain't trusting God no more. And again, I've been through those seasons where I was like, dang, I went through a challenging season. I was like, oh man, I'm a little rattled. Right. But I realized that, dang, I ain't trust God like
how I thought I did.
That
makes sense. That's good. And I appreciate that feedback. I think for me, one of the last questions that I want to leave us with is advice based on while growing and scaling a business as an entrepreneur, business owner, but also living and leading in a successful relationship. How do you go about that without losing yourself?
So, how do you go about building a business?
Maintaining a successful relationship without losing yourself in the process.
I would say one of the things is being okay with prioritizing yourself, right? So, for example, one of the things that helps me is that like morning solitude. Like I typically get up in my house. I typically get up before everybody else, so that way I got my time, right? So I got my things that I enjoy doing, right? So I get up in the morning, have my morning solitude before anybody else gets up. So I get up and pour into myself before and have time with God before I wake up the family and start doing those things, right? I like one of my favorite things is just to like sit in the room and just like binge watch shows, right? Like just straight binge watch.
Yep.
That's like my thing. And like me not feeling guilty about doing that.
For sure.
Right? If I want to go outside and go for a walk, like what are my things that I enjoy doing? Does it make sense? So I was like, bro, it's like, and sometimes you'll feel that guilt coming up, but like, nah, bro, I'm good. Like I'm sitting up in the room, watching my TV, you know, watching my shows, you know, and I'm locked in. Yeah. So we got some shows me and Vanessa watch together, some she don't like, and I watch on my own. But it's like those are some of the things that, you know, I enjoy doing.
And I want people that are watching to understand that these are the things, that's the work. You know what I mean?
That's the work.
And we're looking for, like, it's got to be more complicated than
Yeah, it
that.
don't got to be complicated, bro.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So when I hear you say it, and then I know it's something that I've experienced for myself, it's just like, oftentimes we don't pour into ourselves, we pour into our baby.
Yep.
And we're single parents trying to raise this child on our own. And it's like, man, you're sending yourself through hell, but not pouring into yourself, understanding where your source is coming from. And it's like, it's got to be more complicated than this. So I appreciate it. I think it's really good conversation because this is a great way to go ahead and start developing, transitioning the mindset of what it feels like and what it looks like to scale a business.
100%.
It starts here, so it can end up here.
100%.
So I appreciate you, my brother.
For sure.
Yes, sir.
For sure.
All right.
Okay. Hey, congratulations on making it to the end of the episode. If you enjoyed this episode, you definitely want to check out the next episode that we got, probably popping up on the screen right here somewhere. And also make sure you subscribe to this show. And also check in the description section. We got a ton of resources for you to actually implement a lot of the strategies and insights when we talk about building a business that can actually run without you. Go ahead and do that right now, and we'll see you in the next episode.